Hello Mets fans, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great day, and we are breaking down once again the New York Mets and their approach to MLB free agency, this time taking a look at two pitchers that we have yet to touch on here on the channel, but has recently just been reported earlier today here by Anthony Nakoma, the writer for the New York Mets, stating how the Mets are going to be in attendance for the session for free agent Corey Kluber, in which he will be having his pitching session next week. And they were also already in attendance for former New York Yankee pitcher and James Paxton's session this past month. So very interesting. So that in a nutshell is what we will be breaking down in today's video. A summary on both these pitchers' games, what they could bring to the Mets, why the Mets are possibly targeting them, and everything in between. And as always, guys, make sure you stay all the way until the end of the video, find all the deets and all my thoughts on these pitchers and everything there is to know about the Mets free agency. And if you guys end up enjoying this kind of Mets content and want to see more great Mets content like this going forward, please make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and share this video with your friends. It would really mean a lot. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into this video. Corey Kluber, the 34-year-old right-hander at 6'4", 215 pounds, originally drafted back in the 4th round in 2007 by the San Diego Padres, really has only played a handful of games the past 2 years dealing with injury, including in the 2019-2020 season, only racking up 8 total games. But in 2018, his last full season at the time with the Cleveland Indians, in 33 games played and 215 innings pitched, put up 20 wins, 7 losses, a 2.89 ERA, a 0.99 WHIP, a 9.29 K per 9, and a 1.42 walks per 9. In his career, in 209 total games played and 1,342 innings pitched, he has 98 wins, 58 losses, a 3.16 ERA. James Paxton, the 32-year-old at 6'4", 227 pounds, the southpaw was drafted in the 4th round back in 2010 by the Seattle Mariners, and in the 2020 season only played a cup of coffee due to injury as well, just racking up 5 games played with the Yanks. But in 2019, in a full season, 29 games played and 150.2 innings pitched, has racked up 15 wins, 6 losses, a 3.82 ERA, a 1.28 WHIP, 11.11 K per 9, and 3.29 walks per 9. And his career totals in 136 games played and 753 innings pitched has racked up 57 wins, 33 losses, a 3.58 ERA, and a 1.21 WHIP. Alright guys, I think we know the story when it comes to these two pitchers by now. Corey Kluber is a 2-time AL Cy Young Award winner back in the 2014 and 2017 seasons, both with the Cleveland Indians, and is also a 3-time AL All-Star from the span of 2016 all the way to 2018. Literally up until his injuries and his departure with the Indians, he was one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And then when you look at James Paxton, spent the past 2 years or so with the Yankees, has looked solid, a little up and down, hasn't hit a 4 ERA, but has really been around the high 3s for the most part, and has only had 1 ERA season in his career where he was a sub-3. For the most part, if you look at Paxton through 4 straight seasons, at least up until this 2020 season, he had around a 3.79 ERA or lower, and also pitched between 120 to tops 160 innings pitched. He has never hit 200 innings in his career, versus Corey Kluber, up until his injuries, had 5 straight seasons with at least 200 innings pitched for Cleveland. So there's a big difference there. If you look at the numbers between the two when it comes to innings, Kluber has essentially twice as much when it comes to innings on his arm than a guy like Paxton, which may make a guy like Paxton more appealing. But the bigger question is, why are the Mets showing interest in these guys? And it's probably making you all watching this scratching your head that why are the Mets doing this? It feels very Wilpons-esque, if you ask me, to go for guys that are, 1, in the twilight of their career, and 2, have been very injury prone at least for the past year and are showing some easy risk should the Mets acquire them. I understand that, that's all perfect arguments, but let's take a couple things into account here. The Mets are not targeting Corey Kluber and James Paxton, one of them at least, to be, say, your number 3 in the rotation. You're more than likely going after one of these guys on a short-term deal to have him in the back of your rotation. That way you can also save money and hope that the guy does have a bounce back year. But again, there is some worry there. If you look at guys like Porcello, Waka just from a year ago, we know what happened there. I don't think that would be the same story with either one of these pitchers, but I'm definitely not in favor of them being the biggest moves in the rotation for the Mets this offseason, nor do I think it will be. If we look at what the Mets just did, it hasn't been official yet, but they're officially out of the running for Tomoyuki Sugano, the coveted ace coming from the Nippon Pro Baseball League, and has yet to sign. He might very well today. After recording this, time will tell. But when you look at the Mets prioritizing other things, you'd have to imagine that, 1, they're prioritizing George Springer, as we know. But when you look at the rotation, you look at the pitching options still, you have Trevor Bauer out there and Jake Odorizzi. I think those are two guys that the Mets are highly coveting. As we know, we're going to find out sooner than later just how much, but it would be very sensible for the Mets to go after one of Bauer and Odorizzi. If I had to imagine right now, I think Bauer seems like more of a stretch, even though I simply don't know. We're only going to find out over time. So let's say, just for security's sake, that's Odorizzi, right? And then the Mets possibly land one of Kluber or Paxton. I'm not fully against that, but I don't love the idea either when you look at other names out there. And I'm going to be touching on all this in my live stream later tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check that out, guys. I'll be expanding on all this much further regarding the Mets and all the latest news regarding free agency and their supposed targets. But I thought this was very interesting to see these guys come out in regards to Paxton. We didn't know originally from all the reports, at least, that the Mets were in attendance for Paxton's session this past month. And to see them in attendance for Kluber, they're at least doing their due diligence. So we have to understand the Mets are not going to land all the guys that they're showing interest in, but they're in an unprecedented situation now, like never before here, with now having the new regime and Steve Cohen, Sandy Alderson, Zach Scott, Jared Porter, all of them, where they can really show interest at least in everyone out there and then weigh their options. Just because they're showing interest doesn't mean they're going to land them, nor does it mean that they're not interested in the first place. A lot of factors go in. I'm under the firm belief that the Mets really do have the plans A through F all figured out. It's just a matter of time before we really figure out exactly what of those plans are they going for. Okay, if they're not going for, say, a Masahiro Tanaka or a Paxton, maybe they're going for Kluber in the back of the rotation. Maybe they're going for a Taiwan Walker, if you will, amongst some others. Maybe they're not going for a Jake Odorizzi because they actually are prioritizing Trevor Bauer, or vice versa. We don't know yet, but we will sooner rather than later, especially once Sugano signs. Assuming it's not with the Mets, we're going to have some more clarity on things going forward. But I think the Mets, they're trying to be strategic and take advantage of the offseason, but maybe not in the attempt that a lot of Mets fans, and even including myself at times, were originally perceiving it, as they're going to make a splash, but they're going to be very smart in how they do things. They're not going to throw probably a huge amount of dollars at someone where they feel there's a high risk. That may very well be the case with Trevor Bauer, but again, I could be wrong here. That's why this is so nuts with this roller coaster of an offseason, if you will, for this team. But a lot of options for them, and I do like the option of Corey Kluber on a short-term deal, but the injury is always going to be a factor into this, and it'll be a matter of, can he stay healthy at the age of 34? How much are you looking for? And are the Mets really going to take that much of a risk on guys that really have come off some injury-prone years now? I'm not sure. A part of me hopes he doesn't, but at the same time, if they do it to really make sure that they can spend their money big time elsewhere, either still in the rotation or in the outfield as well, as we know, among others, and in the bullpen, then hey, I can live with it, but only time will tell what the direction that they're going in. So as always, guys, make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the supposed interest from the Mets and both Corey Kluber and a guy like James Paxton? Do you think they're just showing tabs on them, or do you think that there is more to it? I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, guys, stay tuned. 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight, right down here, you'll see I will be live streaming once again, talking about all the latest news for the Mets and free agency, talking about this further, talking about George Springer, everyone in between, Sugano, you name it, Brad Hand, the video I just covered just a day ago regarding Liam Hendricks as well. All these names I will be breaking down thoroughly, and I hope to see you guys there. And as always, if you enjoy this kind of Mets content, want to see more great Mets content like this going forward, guys, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, put on the notification bell, and share this video with your friends. It really mean a lot. But thank you all so much for the endless support, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.